I'll say barefaced lies. I'll say barefaced lies. I'll say barefaced lies. Again, barefaced lies. I'll say barefaced lies. I'll say barefaced lies. I'll say barefaced lies. Again.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced lies.
Barefaced lies. Barefaced lies.
Hey Sean, you got a party, got that little party going on there. Keep to the left, you can't think right, so everything you do goes wrong, yeah. Incompetence just leads to disaster. Corruption brings it on even faster. What you say?
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced lies.
Barefaced lies. Barefaced lies.
Comrades, you always told us you'd build us all a new Jerusalem, yeah. You talk the talk, but when you walk, you only leave a crooked line there. And you don't see the trouble that's brewing if all you do is just what you're doing.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced lies.
Is this where you wanna be? Debts and childhood poverty. Won't somebody set us free from this corrupt kleptocracy? Oh yeah.
Barefaced lies.
That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise, you get shooting cold, overgrown, postal phone, barefaced. That's right, yeah, we got an agenda. And it's your money we're gonna spend, yeah. Do you wonder where it's all gonna end, yeah? Do you think we ever wanna defend, yeah? Cause when the truth becomes so easy to disguise.
not fear them. Do not fear any of them. On the 20th of November 2003, James Ignatius O'Rourke McMahon was elected councillor for the Failsworth East Ward of Oldham. Deeply ambitious, he ruthlessly rose to power, and by 2011 he was already leader of the council. In 2015, exploiting a Labour Party loophole, he became MP for Oldham West and Royton. If only the people of the town knew then what they now know. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.
Monday the 18th of May 2026. My name is Raja Miah. This is a Recusant 9 transmission. My apologies for the slight delay this evening. I do also have other roles in my life. I help out and support a number of charities. One is in Manchester, a Jewish boys youth club essentially. So they'd invited me down and I'd cancelled on them a few times, so it was not fair for me to cancel again. So that's where I spent a lovely evening, actually. Do some amazing work with some young people who, if I'm honest, having a look around Manchester, they're probably the most the community most in need and most at risk of genuinely being attacked and targeted. So it was nice. Apparently they've promised me food next time, so you know what I'm like with food. I will get there. So there is only one place to start this evening. I think it is a continuation left off. Now, first and foremost, I've had a significant amount of pushback, shall we say, on X, which is fine. People are entitled to their opinions. I am very precise with my language, and those of you who know my work and know how we got to where we've got to, it's because of that precision. Yeah, some people have called it pedantic. I call it precise, and there has been a need to be precise to get where we are. Now, this is what she's published, and I think it's fair I read it in its entirety. I have never written to her in any capacity, and neither have my lawyers. So she's quoting me. Raja Miah has been careful in his wording. I'm always careful in my wording. He is correct that neither he nor his lawyers wrote directly to me. He wrote to my boss about me, and I'm trying to work out. I don't understand the governance of the rape gang inquiry. I'll be honest with you. So if Rupert Lowe is her boss, is she employed by the rape gang inquiry? I have no idea. None of this makes, any sense to me. He stated no such letter exists. It does. No. I stated no such letter exists. Read the top line. I have never written to her in any capacity, and neither have my lawyers. The required actions have not been met, and he can now initiate High Court proceedings. Now, the problem with this, before I go on to analyse it, the problem with this is I wrote to the rape gang inquiry. Like I said to you, I wrote to Rupert Lowe. Is she now speaking on behalf of Rupert Lowe? Does the law not matter to these people? Tell me, does the law not matter to these people? Here is the letter itself. Straight away to Rupert Lowe directly. And you can read it yourself. I'm sure you read it yourself, but I want to go through it in such a way that I do so it makes sense to you. You've not missed much, Julia. I've just started. I'm on my second sip of my Vimto. I think all of this is, as I said yesterday when I posted, or was it Saturday when I first posted, there is something else going on here. And I do not believe the attack on me on Saturday. Remember, look at this date of this, 28th of April 2026. I do not believe the attack on me is anyway coincidental from the need to oppose reform in the upcoming by-election. Indeed, Claire, but unfortunately, I don't think a lot of people do read. They've picked sides, haven't they? I think people have picked sides, and the people who've picked her side, not all of them, but consistently it's been followed by or incorporated, as you've seen, a whole host of racist abuse. So she's published this letter on X, and you can see clearly it's a private and confidential letter addressed to Rupert Lowe MP in his capacity as director of the Rape Gang Inquiry CIC. The letter is dated the 20th of April 2026 and marked private and confidential by email only. In doing this, contrary to what her and her supporters think, in doing this, she has confirmed 3 things she spent 24 hours denying. Remember, I'm a liar, I'm a liar, I'm a liar. She has confirmed, first and foremost, I am not suing her. Dear Mr. Lowe, I write pursuant to the pre-action protocol, blah, blah, blah. Who is in Boulder? The Rape Gang Inquiry, CIC. So I'm writing to the Rape Gang Inquiry, CIC. Single sentence. He is correct that neither he nor his lawyers wrote directly to me. He wrote to my boss about me. That single sentence dismantles everything she said from the rally stage. You cannot sue someone without writing to them or their lawyers. She has confirmed in her own words that neither I nor my lawyers wrote to her. That is not someone who's been sued. That is someone who received no correspondence whatsoever from me. She then states, he can now initiate High Court proceedings. Now initiate High Court proceedings. There, read it. Not already. If I was currently trying to sue her, as she told that rally, audience of millions, remember, proceedings would already have been active. Her own post confirms they are not. She has just told the public that no proceedings have been initiated against her. In a single sentence, she has disproved the allegation she made from a stage. No. I'm not splitting hairs here. I'm being precise, Claire. She made a specific allegation with specific words. Raja Miah is currently trying to sue me. I cannot be currently trying to sue her if I've written to Rupert Lowe. She opened this episode claiming I was currently trying to sue her. She has closed it, confirming the letter went to her boss, not to her, and that I can now, meaning I have not yet, initiate proceedings against the community interest company. What she's demonstrated through her actions is not simply a failure of judgment. It is evidence of the complete absence of governance, data protection, compliance and safeguarding within the Rape Gang Inquiry CIC. The letter she published was sent by email only, marked private and confidential and addressed to Rupert Lowe as sole director. It was a pre-action legal communication. Do you know what pre-action means? For those of you who are claiming I'm splitting hairs, do you know what pre-action actually means in this space? It is the legal phase where someone is looking to resolve an issue without suing someone. Again, I am here 8 years in, not because I shout and scream. I'm here 8 years in because I am precise with my language and my understanding. That is exactly what's took place here. She's proved her own lie. The letter was not addressed to Woodhouse and was not copied to her. She has no standing to receive it, no authority to publish it, and no lawful basis to do so. That she received it at all raises a question the CIC must answer. Remember, this is an organisation handling the most sensitive of data involving the testimonies of rape gang survivors, whistleblowers. Who within the organisation shared a private legal letter with her? Under what authority was that decision made? Was any data protection review conducted before the disclosure? Some of you might think none of this matters, but it matters. It matters here more than anywhere else. A properly governed organisation receiving a pre-action letter of claim would refer it immediately to legal counsel and maintain strict confidentiality. It would certainly not pass to the hands of someone for publication on social media. Let's have a look at the letter. Let's have a look at the letter. The allegation is what? I'm splitting hairs and I'm suing her? Well, I can't sue her indirectly because I wrote it to him. So let's have a look at the content of the letter. On the 26th of April 2026, Miss Woodhouse published a statement on X, asserting that I am spreading lies and false information and claiming that a decision had been made to exclude me from the inquiries panel. These statements were published to a wide audience of over 200,000 followers and presented as official inquiry business. Who am I raising concerns with? Presented as official inquiry business. The publication asserts as fact that I was excluded following, quote, concerns raised by the majority of participants, and explicitly states that I had been involved, that had I been involved, I would not have had access to anyone's personal details. In its natural and ordinary meaning, this carries the highly defamatory implication that I am a person who poses a safeguarding risk to vulnerable individuals and that I am not a fit and proper person to be trusted with sensitive data. These statements are false, meet the serious harm threshold under Section 1 of the Defamation Act 2013 and are calculated to destroy my professional reputation. Furthermore, the publication explicitly labels my statements as lies and false information. And alleges that I am putting out such information all for a few quid. This is a direct attack on my integrity and professional character. It falsely portrays me as a dishonest person who is motivated purely by financial gain. This claim is entirely without merit and further aggravates the serious harm caused to my reputation as a campaigner and public figure. Come on. Any one of you, someone writes that about you. I had options. I could have attacked her online. You saw I did not attack her online. Separate to being the survivor, she is the lead member of the rape gang inquiry team. Why would I want to attack the lead member of the rape gang inquiry team? So what did I do? I wrote to Rupert Law because she is speaking on behalf of the rape gang inquiry team with information she claims she's got from within the rape gang inquiry team in reference to my role or not role in the rape gang inquiry team. Of course, under such circumstances, I had to send a private and confidential letter to Rupert Lowe, wanting this to be quietly addressed so that the serious concerns regarding the rape gang inquiry team's operational processes would not come to light. Have I attacked her? Had I publicly called her out? Have I still to this day called her a liar? She is very specific with her claims. And now she's released a letter I sent to Rupert Lowe, where I'm clearly not suing her. And this is the letter: procedural and governance failures. Who is this addressed to? If I'm raising issues of procedural and governance failures, who is that to? It's the inquiry team. It is a matter of significant concern that the CICE appears to be conducting its administrative business via social media. Prior to the publication of this post, that's Sammy Woodhouse's post, I had received no formal notification, correspondence or private communication from the inquiry CIC confirming that any decision had been made to exclude me. For an organisation with such a sensitive remit to announce a procedural decision publicly before informing the subject of that decision is a gross departure from standard governance. I am finding out online. She's published it online. No one from the inquiry team has said this to me. Raja, you've been removed from the rape gang inquiry because you can't be trusted to be around the survivors. That's essentially what she's said, isn't it? What would happen to how would any one of you react if that allegation had been made to you? Online to an audience of millions. Come on. With no evidence whatsoever. On behalf of an organisation. How would one of you, any one of you, reacted? The publication discloses sensitive details regarding the inquiry's internal deliberations and private negotiations. This includes the purported views of participants and the claimant's alleged refusal to participate as a witness. So that's me. Whether these accounts are factually accurate is immaterial to this head of claim. The disclosure of private pre-procedural negotiations between a potential participant and the inquiry possesses a clear quality of confidence. Listen, if you have spoken to me as a potential whistleblower, which you did, on what basis is the rape gang inquiry team publishing details of that? Explain that to me. What she claims isn't true, by the way, but that's by the by. Explain to me on what basis the lead member of the rape gang inquiry team can have a private and confidential meeting with herself and a lawyer and a whistleblower and then reveal details of that exchange. Explain it. There is no public interest justification for broadcasting the mechanics of these private discussions on social media. Since when did you conduct your business, an inquiry, an organisation safeguarding children? Since when did it conduct its business on social media? Such conduct constitutes a profound breach of confidence and a misuse of private information under Article 8 of the ECHR. So these are data protection breaches. If they've done that to me, who else have they done it to? I'll tell you why, because I do not believe they have the systems and processes in place. Unless you believe Sammy Woodhouse is capable of producing them. As a data controller, the CIC has failed to process my personal data fairly or securely. Lack of lawful basis is the first one. There is no lawful basis under Article 6 of the UK GDPR for the public broadcasting of my personal data or my procedural status. Exactly, Louise. Louise has worked in this world. Transparency failure. The failure to inform me of a decision regarding my data before making it public is a direct breach of GDPR transparency principles. Miss Woodhouse purports to speak on behalf of the inquiry, using terms such as our inquiry and detailing panel discussions. As the sole director of the CIC, you are responsible for the actions of its officers and the protection of sensitive data held by the organisation. The CIC is vicariously liable for these publications. There you go, in bold. Who am I holding responsible? Who am I holding responsible, people? This is not splitting hairs. Who am I holding responsible? The CIC is required to provide a response. Again, do you see? Does it say Sammy Woodhouse is required to provide a response? No. The CIC is required to provide a response to me via email within 14 days addressing the following. And this is where it gets interesting. Remember the claim? I'm suing her. I'm suing her. Immediate removal. 1. Cease and desist. A cease and desist communication is not suing anyone. Immediate removal of the post. A post saying I am a risk to survivors. Remember? A safeguarding risk to survivors. Immediate removal of the post and a formal undertaking that no further defamatory or confidential information will be published. I don't share confidential information with Sammy Woodhouse. I've shared it with the Rape Gang Inquiry team. Who am I holding responsible? The Rape Gang Inquiry team. Is the second one unreasonable? Clarification of status. A formal explanation of my current status with the inquiry and why this was published online before being communicated with me. Single one of you. Would you find it acceptable that you volunteered your time freely and helped and then the lead member of the organisation, apparently on behalf of the organisation, says, yeah, we have to get rid of him, he's a safeguarding risk to girls? Some survivors refused to go to Westminster because I would not go. I was told I could not go with them, and I was told I could not go with them because there was no space. I was not told there was a safeguarding risk. I was told there was no space. So survivors had supported to come forward to the inquiry, stepped back because they wanted my help to go with them. I think it's clear from the outset that someone was uncomfortable with me being in that space. Don't you? Governance disclosure. Confirmation of whether this statement was authorized, reviewed, or endorsed by you as director. Confirmation of internal disciplinary action initiated regarding this unauthorized disclosure. And the remedy, a simple one, just a public retraction. An apology in terms to be agreed. Then I asked for them to preserve evidence. Which is what, is a standard thing you do. I specifically want any records, logs or communications relating to the safeguarding concerns cited in the publication, because what she's claimed is the majority of survivors refused to work with me. If I wanted to, I could have gone ranting at her right then. Did I go ranting at her? I wrote a private and confidential letter urging Rupert Lowe to put this right. I think that. Yeah. I know 100% that the majority of survivors have not gone to the rape gang inquiry team and said, we will only take part if Raja Miah, that brown-faced Muslim man, is not here. That's not true. I know it's not true. You know it's not true, because I've been occupying this space for the last 8 years, and the survivors that have fallen out with me, I can count on the fingers of one hand. And they include individuals who attempted to prevent a rape gang inquiry focused on the Pakistani rape gangs. And that's what I'm asking, Julie. Did I flip? Did I shout and scream? Excluded from meetings, excluded from supporting survivors. Excluded from the events that they had. There's no room. They have an inquiry and they're all sat there listening. They have limited insight in the way I do in some of the questioning, and I would have brought a perspective to that. Excluded from that. At no point did I publicly criticise the rape gang inquiry on the treatment of me. The only time I spoke on the rape gang inquiry was when, in my opinion, a complete stupid statement of using a rape gang inquiry team to deviate from its intended actions and politicising it. and making it into a subsidiary of Restore Britain. That's when I spoke out. Was I wrong to speak out? Was I wrong to flag that this isn't right? It's not a subsidiary of a political organisation? And she publishes this letter that I made reference to you all yesterday. And why do you think I didn't share the letter? Why do you think I didn't share the letter? Could it perhaps be because I work in a different way? And if I said something is private and confidential and sent it, and hoping that this could be resolved out of sight so that no harm comes to the inquiry, despite everything that they've done to me, no harm comes to the inquiry. No. And sadly, the act of publishing this letter, without publishing this letter, engages several distinct legal concerns. I think you and I both know who possibly may be responsible for bad-mouthing me, Julie. 100%. But do you think the allegation that the majority of survivors who engaged in the rape gang inquiry, and I've seen the forms, there's no form there that says, you know, do you have an opinion on Raja Miah? There's no question there. Do you think the majority of them also then said, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to work with Raja Miah? Under UK GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018, are you familiar with it, Miss Woodhouse? How about you, Rupert? Under the UK GDPR and the Data Protection Act 2018, personal data must be processed lawfully, fairly and transparently. The letter contains my personal data, my legal position and confidential information about my relationship with the inquiry. Publishing that data on X without my consent has no lawful basis under Article 6 of UK GDPR. The community interest company, as data controller, is responsible for ensuring that data it holds is not processed in this way. It has clearly failed in its obligation. This is not me being pedantic. This is me being precise. This is how we got here. Facts matter, due process, legalities, all of those things is how we got here. The letter was also subject, you can see it, to an established duty of confidence. It was explicitly marked as such. The law recognises that information communicated in confidence cannot be disclosed without consent, where doing so would be unconsolable. It's wrong. The publication of a private and confidential pre-action letter of claim on social media meets this threshold. It's wrong. Forget the law, it's wrong, because what does this say about due process within the organisation? What happens when a whistleblower comes with something they don't like? Maybe against someone that they are on friendly terms with. It can't have been, mate. It can't have been. It can't have been leaked by a third party because it only went to one person. It only went to one person. The misuse of private information is a further concern. The unauthorised publication of such material, that clearly constitutes a misuse of private information. I think there's a case, Campbell versus somebody another. Again, Article 8 of the European Convention of Human Rights. This is an organisation with access to the personal data of survivors. It holds sensitive information about some of the most vulnerable people in this country. And here we have a private and confidential letter addressed to its sole director finding its way into public circulation. If this is how a rape gang inquiry, CIC, handles a letter trying to deal with matters constructively, confidentially, and without causing any issues, well, then the question I have is, how does it handle survivor data? Is that not a question that demands an urgent and transparent answer? You've seen my demands. If I was suing her, I would be asking for compensation. All I was asking for, quietly, is that an outrageous allegation made on behalf of the rape gang inquiry team that I am a safeguarding risk to survivors was removed, and for the inquiry team to write to me saying, sorry, it won't happen again. A CIC is a community interest company, and it is a specific legal structure. It is a specific legal structure, and one of the issues of conflict we've had with the Rape Gang Inquiry Team, CIC, is the CIC mechanism prevents it from being party political. And Rupert Lowe has signed documents to the regulators saying that the Rape Gang Inquiry, CIC, is not a political entity. You think she has been told a lie and she has been eating it up? think there's more going on here, Claire. Sadly, I think there's more going on here. The timing of this slur from her was just hours after, day after, I released a statement confirming that I and my team from Oldham would be campaigning against Andy Burnham in the upcoming by-election. I don't believe that is coincidental. Furthermore, on reflection, looking back, I think it's very clear that despite my involvement in the rape gang inquiry team, some people within that team, and you've seen the way in which Restore have gone down, and I know some of you are fans of Restore, and I have no issue with that, so we're clear. But you have got to acknowledge that some of your supporter base would rather not see someone like me campaigning in this space. I'm an inconvenience. Agreed. The anti-Rupert Law rhetoric in this chat is beyond belief. Have you heard me? In the same way I've not criticised Sammy Woodhouse, has anyone heard me criticise Rupert Law? Have I called him a name? Have I said anything at all? I don't think it's a coincidence, Tracy. Mate, you're the only person responsible, legally responsible. You need to understand this. An organisation with one director, there's a legal duty called a data controller. That legal responsibility falls on the single director. And if someone else sent it on to Sammy Woodhouse, then that's a reflection on the poor governance arrangements within the organisation. I'm formulaic, I'm systematic. And if the worst the critics can call me is pedantic, clearly they've called me a liar. And I think it's clear that I'm not a liar. Raja Miah is currently trying to sue me. In fact, even in this, I mean, this is just disrespectful. Even in this, she couldn't spell my name right. She couldn't put a H on my surname. Even in this, she couldn't even spell my name. Now, what do you think that is a reflection of? I think I'm just going to send this gentleman on his way. Okay. Gone. The problem is silence won't work. Because I don't think it's stopped to understand. I think they clearly play fast and loose. The Information Commissioner's Office is now involved. And they have a duty, I've written to them today, they have a duty to refer themselves within 3 days to the Information Commissioner's Office for what they've done. And I do not believe, Paula, that was at all accidental. Do you? Right. On this matter, I am done, I think. If you wish to believe Sammy Woodhouse on her various versions of the story up to this, and her supporters are now saying I'm playing with words, then off you go. I don't play with words. I have a mastery of words. And it is that mastery of words that has outflanked the entire machinery of the Labour Party to get this here. Unless you believe Sammy Woodhouse is the person who got us to a national inquiry. I am done with this for now. I would rather not come back to it. We have a by-election to fight. Yes? Get a brew if you want. I just need to open something up. And I want to talk about Maggie Oliver. I just need to bring it up. I just need to find the story. Just give me 1 second. If you are new to me and you are finding value in my work, you can buy me a coffee if you still wish. You can at the very least subscribe to this channel. And there's a newsletter, redwallandarabble.co.uk. It's pinned at the top of this chat. Please click and sign it. Free sugars. Got your copper? Let's continue. Maggie Oliver has released an opinion piece, I think, in the Daily Mail it's called. Burnham had a chance to give a voice to grooming gang victims and you wasted it. That's the headline. Oh, from the fallout? Yeah, maybe 2, 3. Of no consequence to me, Julia. 2 or 3, I think. One kindly followed it up with, I should never have trusted a Muslim. I would have had a rum and coke with him to discuss it, but never mind. Off he went. Maggie Oliver. Burnham had a chance to give a voice to grooming gang victims and he wasted it. So she's come out with this. This is a man who wants to be Prime Minister. I saw last week people tried to, I don't know what the word is, railroad her into somehow standing for election. No, she can't stand for election, as she said afterwards. Her cause is great and she needs to be able to challenge people from all political sides. And this is what she said. I'll read it to you first. Maggie, over the next month, we're going to hear a lot from Andy Burnham about his role in rooting out the Asian grooming gangs and getting justice for the countless children who were their victims. She's playing it safe there. Give her a due. She's playing it safe. Asian grooming gangs. We know what she means. And she's made reference to it before. Over the next month, we're going to hear a lot from Andy Burnham as he bids to return to Westminster about his role in rooting out the Asian grooming gangs and getting justice for the countless children who were their victims. He will claim he fought the police and social services to expose their failure to act, and he will imply that the scandal is largely over, thanks to his intervention. If Burnham is elected as Makerfield's MP at next month's by-election, there's a strong chance he could soon be Prime Minister. And that concerns me. My honest opinion is the Asian term. It's not one Maggie Oliver now uses. I think that'd be an editorial tweak. But she needed to get this message out, mate. So look beyond that. She is taking on the so-called King of the North and would-be Prime Minister. I have no party allegiance. I left my role as a detective constable in Rochdale in 2012 in protest at the force's mishandling of 2 child sex abuse rings. Since then, I've campaigned for the victims of grooming gangs and exposed the failures of institutions. From the police to social services in preventing group-based child sexual abuse. So that's the terminology, group-based child sexual abuse. It's the polite term of saying grooming gangs, rape gangs. I've criticised Tory inaction, she has. I've attacked Labour letdowns, she has. And I'm not afraid to pick a fight with politicians of any creed in my determination to keep a spotlight on police failures to address grooming gangs. Because that's her angle. She's a former police officer. So her specialism is the police failures. If I had a specialism, it would be the political environment and the racial dynamic, perhaps. It doesn't matter to me what party Burnham represents. He should not be Prime Minister because he does not fulfil his promises. He happily takes the credit for other people's battles, but he lacks the steel to keep fighting when the stakes get high. That's a damning phrase. He happily takes the credit for other people's battles, but he lacks the steel to keep fighting when the stakes get high. That's him there. In my experience, he doesn't finish the job. Instead, he looks for the easy way out. Don't just take my word for it. Ask Victoria Agoglia's grandmother, Joan. Victoria was 15 when she died from a drugs overdose. 2 months earlier, she told Joan that men were injecting her with heroin and raping her. Pakistani men, so we're clear. Joan tried desperately to make the authorities believe that her granddaughter, who lived in a council care home, 15, child, in care, was in life-threatening danger. I phoned them, and I phoned them, and I phoned them. But nobody cared, she said. 14 years later, Burnham, as Mayor of Greater Manchester, finally took action and ordered an investigation. This followed a BBC documentary, The Betrayed Girls, of which I was a central part. So that's Maggie Oliver, highlighting the extent of the grooming gang crisis. Burnham pledged to hold a second inquest to discover the true causes of Victoria's death. But 7 years on, this still hasn't happened. Manchester Social Services have been allowed to maintain that it did everything possible to prevent Victoria's death, when in reality, many workers at the care home have admitted that they were aware of the abuse she was suffering. For those who doubt my reference to numbers, this is Maggie Oliver's exact words. Her story is just one among thousands. You have a good evening. I've known Burnham for nearly 10 years, and I've pleaded with him many times to make good on his promises. But he simply melts away. I have been reluctantly driven to the conclusion that he is unwilling to make the tough decisions a real leader will. He has charisma, with a gift for saying what people want to hear. I liked him when I met him, and I'd rather go to the pub with him than with Sir Keir Starmer, who failed to tackle the grooming gangs while he was Director of Public Prosecutions. That's another damning statement from Maggie Oliver. The Prime Minister failed to deal with the grooming gangs whilst he was Director of Public Prosecutions. But credit where it's due. She gives him credit. I wouldn't give him this credit, and I'll explain why. Burnham struck 2 blows against the gangs by instigating independent reviews in 2 police investigations, Operation Augusta in Manchester and Operation Span in Rochdale, which were both spineless. So basically what happened is, thanks to his intervention, Maggie Oliver's stance, held since 2013, that these operations were failures, was vindicated. For that I am grateful. So the success is that she was proven to be true. But the truth is that his 2 inquiries into Operation Augusta and Operation Span if professionals failed these children, has claimed and proven, and Maggie Oliver was vindicated, surely those professionals should be held to account for what they did. Not one has. But this is where I want to pause for a minute, a moment. Buried in the small print. But a third review into wide-scale sexual abuse by Asian gangs, again, sorry, it should be Pakistani gangs, against children in Oldham, amounted to little more than a cover-up. Maggie Oliver has yet again, in the national news, confirmed what I have been saying about Andy Burnham. She's more polite with it, of course she is. The third review into widespread sexual abuse by the rape gangs against children in Oldham amounted to little more than a cover-up. Remember, Burnham said I tell lies or something, posted on X, his office posted stuff, posted statements. The machinery of the mayor's office came after me. Year after year after year, we kept going at one point. I mean, I'm looking at this now, 1,300 of you have joined me so far. There's 240 something of you with me now. My friends will tell me. We'll share with you. There were 20 of us, 30 of us. There were hard days. No one was fighting for us. When we were saying Andy Burnham, the popular Andy Burnham, was involved in a cover-up in Oldham. His assurance review wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And now, as he seeks to become MP on his way to becoming Prime Minister, Maggie Oliver is confirming that the assurance review that Andy Burnham commissioned in Oldham amounted to little more than a cover-up. Well done to each and every one of you who carried this through those dark days. Because if they'd had their way, it would have been over, and Maggie Oliver wouldn't be making this statement, because she can only operate in the space of certainty because of who she now is and the reputation she has. And Maggie Oliver has just confirmed her position that the sexual abuse by the rape gangs against children in Oldham, commissioned by Andy Burnham, amounted to little more than a cover-up. An assurance review, a different assurance review followed. It was like a self-assessment where the police got to say, they were now fit for purpose. So called because it was meant to assure the public that the reign of the gangs was at an end, and that Greater Manchester Police were finally dealing with the victims properly. It was not honest, transparent or fit for purpose. It was so poor that I, as in Sammy Woodhouse, had to withdraw herself and her charity, the Maggie Oliver Foundation, from any association. So the third part in Oldham was a cover-up, the third review, and the fourth element, the assurance review of everything's okay now, pat ourselves on the back, we've learnt our lessons. Maggie Oliver withdrew herself and her charity from any association with it, and even the two fixers, Malcolm Newsom and Martin Ridgway? Gary Ridgway. Malcolm Newsom, Gary Ridgway. Even both of those resigned. They were shamed into resigning. That's right, isn't it, Andy Burnham? We made it clear, the foundation that is made it clear to Burnham why we were taking such a step. It's not fit for purpose. It's not honest. It's not transparent. It's a stitch up. That's what she's saying. It was a stitch up. He still pressed ahead without speaking to a single victim. They continued, Burnham continued with this farce without speaking, as in his investigation, speaking to a single victim. It meant the conclusions were largely worthless. As Mayor of Greater Manchester, Burnham is also Police and Crime Commissioner. It is his job to hold senior officers to account and confront the incompetence that allowed mass abuse to go largely unchallenged. He had the opportunity and he wasted it. He promised he would do it and he didn't. There is an ongoing cost in lives lost and victims who suffer, and in my opinion, Burnham holds some responsibility for that. What does that mean? I'm reading that and it means Maggie Oliver is saying Andy Burnham is involved in the cover-up of the gang rape of children. In an opinion piece in the Daily Mail. This country needs a leader who isn't afraid to shine a light in dark corners. We need a leader with courage and integrity. We need someone as good as their word. You'll hear a lot of words from Burnham, but based on my experience, Maggie's experience, whether he will honour them is another question entirely. So instead of campaigning against Andy Burnham and exposing to the entire nation his role in the cover-up of the grooming and gang rape of children and evidencing all of this, we have wasted valuable time. I do not think that has been accidental. I need to regroup, shake my head, focus on the work we're doing. Maggie Oliver is doing. The rape gang inquiry isn't doing this work. They're not critiquing the publications, the assurance reviews, etc., etc. Those of us who've done it before, you gave your £800,000 are the ones who are still doing it. We forced that, Melanie. And we forced Oldham Council, every 60 councillors from the council, including the Labour ones, to write to the government calling the government in, because the review in our town had not done its job, and this is the review now that Maggie Oliver is also confirming was nothing short of a cover-up. How can we have a Prime Minister who, the most leading campaigner in this space, Maggie Oliver, is making such allegations towards evidenced allegations? What do you want me to do, and where do we now go? That's a conversation we need to have with each other. It's clear to me that certain individuals and maybe certain organisations or organisation used us, used our work, and then when they wanted to tell a different story in a different way and use it for a different means, they tried to mobilise 1 million people to turn on me. That's something I'm still having to deal with. Maggie Oliver has spoken out in a way no one else has. Andy Burnham has the entire machinery of the state. Are we to remain silent after everything we've done? Are we to remain silent? Are we to allow ourselves to be deflected and distracted whilst this man becomes an MP and then goes on to become Prime Minister? And I think, Chloe, you're right. We've got this far because we've spoken truth to power, no matter the consequences, and we've campaigned in a way that the Labour Party has not been able to deal with, nor the machinery of the state. Responding to morons on X is not going to win us our next battle. Our next battle has got to be to make sure that we use this opportunity with Burnham in the spotlight and Burnham up for election. We have to use this opportunity to share this truth with as many more people as possible. And this woman has bravely just given us the bullets to do so. She has her role. We have ours. And believe me when I say, those in positions of power fear us, because they know that we will not stop. If you value my work, please consider supporting me. If you're an out-and-out racist, you need to understand my position is very, very clear. I am here for the children. I'm here for the survivors. And I'm here ultimately because I believe we need to find a way where we can all live together and purge this country of this cancer where certain groups of men, politically connected Pakistani men with the Labour Party, can use the bloc vote, the power and the influence to do whatever they want in exchange for handing over power. Well, now they can cut out the middleman and take power themselves, can't they? My name is Raja Miah. Raja Miah. Very good evening.
Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them. Do not fear them. Do not fear any of them.